Okay. So to execute, to write Python code, you can always write it in a text file like this. We can also say it's a text editor or it's a code editor. And once you save this code on the file system, then you can just simply come to your command prompt or terminal if you are on Macintosh computer. And then you can execute using the command Python 3, whatever version of Python is installed. You can use Python also. I have Python, but that's points to Python 2. I have Python 2 also installed, but even this works. Okay, so if I say which Python, so say, okay, this Python, okay, and then if I say ls minus l to Python, okay, ls minus l to this particular one, because that's a file, it says it points to Python 2.7. Okay, it points to Python 2.7. So, but we will be using Python 3, right? So instead of code editor, instead of just a text editor, we can use a little bit advanced development tool for writing code. And that's where VS Code comes into picture. VS Code, what does VS Code stands for?
The Visual Studio Code.
Okay, so that's what VS Code stands for. And VS Code is a IDE, which is Integrated Development Environment, because not only provides us the window to write the code. Let's say I can just go to session 1 or maybe session 0, new file, and I'll say uh, hello, or let's say greeting. This is my file name, okay, and I can do this. And see, I'm getting the code editor, which is right here. I can type any code. Let's say I want to type basically a code to calculate the area of a rectangle whose sides are 10 and 20. Okay, so I can say simply print area of rectangle is equal to comma, I can say A into B, right? I can do this and I can simply come, so I can write the code. Now this code is actually saved in the file system, but I don't have to open a terminal to run this code because I will have things integrated in this development environment. So I can actually simply go to session 0 and my file name is greeting. So I'll just say Python 3 greeting and see it has executed this file. Okay. So this is what is IDE and this is what is VS Code. I will send you the instructions to install that. Is this example clear to you? Is this example clear to you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, so I think let's do a round of introduction before we get started. I think we continue with the class. The other kid has not yet joined. Okay, I think is okay. Hi, is this Charan? Can you hear me? Charan, can you hear me? Okay, I think his audio is still not connected, I guess. Yeah, I think his audio is still not connected. Yeah, it should be connected now. Hi, Charan, can you hear me?
Sir is still joining, sir. Give him 2 more minutes.
Oh, okay, okay, no problem, ma'am. Uh, fine. So Okay, I think uh, like Charan, are you there? Charan, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay, good, good. Okay, so we will actually we have full strength today, so let's get started. And okay, so Charan, you got dropped. Charan, you're there.
Yes, sir, I'm there.
Okay, so students, if you have your cameras working, why don't you switch on your camera so that we can have more interaction in the class? Unless your camera is not working or you don't have a camera inbuilt, then that's okay. It can be off. But otherwise, it's always better to have cameras on so that we can have better interaction. Okay. So, Charan, can you switch on your camera? Badresh, you don't have camera with your, on your computer?
Sir, I don't have all this.
Okay, no problem. No problem. But feel free to keep on asking and keep responding to my question. Okay. So this is interactive class, and if you are not responding, I will have to ask.
Sir,
Question.
your voice is not clear, sir.
My voice is not clear. Just hold on. Okay. If it is not clear, do let me know. Is it better?
It is okay.
Better, better.
Yeah. Okay. Fine. In case of any problem, do let me know. Okay. So let's get going then. Any question you have to ask, and there are some ground rules. Along with the class, there'll be some assignments, and assignments have to be completed during the week. Any question you have, you can ask in the subsequent class. So you have to be absolutely clear about the concepts which are getting covered in the class. Okay. So let's quickly do a round of introduction, like which grade you are in, what's your name, of course, and what's your hobbies, and why are you here to learn Python? Okay. Rather, this is advanced Python. So let's start. Okay, I'll go ahead. So my name is Dhananjay, and I'll be your instructor for this class. And I really I'm so fond of Python, and I also do use it in a lot of development activity. And Python is very versatile, and it's used in various areas of work, including web development and artificial intelligence, game development. So a lot is there in this course. Anyway, we will be covering some portion of game development and also desktop GUI development. That is also we will be covering along with database interaction and other concepts. So yeah, I'm basically based out of Electronic City. That's where I'm taking the class, from currently. And my hobbies are, yeah, sports, but these days all is lockdown, so I'm stuck at home. So not much of sports going on, right? So that's about me. How about uh, you guys? Something about you, your interest, your hobbies, which grade you are in. Okay, so the school, which school study you said that he studies in Bethany. So round of introduction, guys. Who wants to go ahead?
Hello, my name is Leo. I'm in standard 8 and I study in Bethany High.
You can you little loudly?
Yes, sir.
Little better. Your voice was
Okay,
little
I'm in standard
low.
8. So can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Still, it's too low. Is there any issue with your mic or something?
Yes. So can you hear me now?
Yes, it's much better. It's much better. So, were you using some headphone?
Hello?
Had some problem? Yeah, you go ahead. Okay, while you is adjusting his mic. Uh, okay, you. Your mic is fine now. I was able to hear you properly. You can go ahead.
Yes. Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, better.
I'm in standard 8 and I study in Bethany High.
Okay, eight and um, fine. Okay, and your hobbies?
I like coding and
You like
like
coding? That's
yes, sir. I've done like robotics as well.
okay. Yeah, from Maker Lab, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Yes, yes. So, have you seen me there?
Yes, I think yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. Fine. Good. Right. So, your hobbies are coding. Any other hobbies?
Like I I play sports and stuff, but now, like you said, with
So,
the lockdown, you can't really.
soccer or cricket?
Oh yeah, I like football.
All. That's great. Okay. And apart from, I think you have learned Python. So, where have you learned Python?
No, I did like a introduction course in a in a site called Coursera.
Oh, Coursera. Okay.
Yes.
Coursera. Okay. And so, fine. And you want to now learn, you want to take your Python knowledge to the next level, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Why you find coding interesting?
And like, cause you get to like make a new like you can code it into you can make a lot of like you can make games and you can make a lot of new things that let's
You can create things. You can create things. You can
yes
create
new codes.
things using code. Yes. Right. Okay. So, whose hobby is reading? Who reads a lot?
I read
Not
Do you read a lot or you don't read a lot?
Sir, in lockdown, I read a lot right now.
Okay. So, okay, you read a lot,
Sir,
and
I'm in sixth grade. I'm in sixth grade. I
yes,
like to play foot. I like to play soccer.
football. Okay, nice. And you said you have told me about your school. I keep forgetting that.
Yes,
Which,
sir.
which school do you study?
So Saint Xavier's.
Sixth grade football, and football is one of your interests, and you like to read, right? At least
Yes, in lockdown. Right now, I like to read.
okay. So what do you
I
read?
read Harry Potter.
Harry Potter. Nice. Okay, you like to read?
I yeah or I don't read that much.
You don't read that much. Okay, okay, that's okay. Okay, great. You and Badresh. How about you, Charan?
uh, name is Charan. I study in 8th grade. Mm, um, School name is Achievers Academy, Bangalore.
What's the name of the school?
Achievers Academy, Bangalore.
You studying Achievers.
No, it's Achievers Academy.
Yeah, I can. Okay, and your interest?
Hobbies, I like skating, swimming,
Oh,
and I do many Arduino projects.
okay. You've done many Arduino projects. I know you have done a lot on robotics. Okay, super. And do you like to read?
No, I hate it.
Okay. Okay, so one recommendation, guys, reading is a very good habit, very good practice. You can read any storybook like Harry Potter or whatever comes. A lot of interesting books. Not only it teaches you story, it tells you about story, which is very interesting to read. But along with that, you actually learn a lot of things. There's a lot of insights which the author will provide you from their experience. So you will get to learn a lot. And along while you're reading, it helps you basically to become I'm saying more conversant with reading. And reading is actually a very important skill which is actually required. And if you're able to read and comprehend certain material in a lesser amount of time, that becomes a plus, that becomes an advantage. So reading is a very important skill. When you grow up, everywhere reading ability is checked, it tested, that know how fast you can read, how good you are at reading. So that always helps. Sometime you take out, make it a habit to read about half an hour every day, maybe before going to bed, or maybe during the time after lunch, before lunch. This is one thing which you guys should inculcate your habit for reading. Okay, and once you become reading, I know once you become avid reader, then you would start finding time whenever, when you get 15 minutes, you'll just pick up your book and then you read it. So this is one thing which I would highly recommend. You can follow that, it will be really helpful. Um, and it's very interesting because authors come with a lot of experience and they do a lot of research before writing any book. And they bring in a lot of their thoughts, the thinking of the characters, the plot, all that thing gives a very good experience to you. So do read, at least half an hour, but make sure that no, you do it regularly, kind of at least 5-6 days a week. You should try to read half an hour every day. I'm saying we do read academic books, but I'm saying apart from academic books, you should inculcate that habit of reading. Even academic book, if it is a story book, English book, even that is fine. Okay, great. Okay, enough of lecture on reading. Let's get back to a topic at hand, which is Python. This is a Python refresher class, and we will go through all this. Any question, feel free to ask. And I want you guys to be comfortable by end of this class, that no, you are able to, you understand all the topics which I'm going to cover, because we are going to build on top of these topics. If you are not clear about these topics, then future topics you will have problems. So I don't want that. I want you all to be absolutely clear about every concepts which I'm going to cover in this class. Okay, so are we ready?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, super. So variables are way to hold any value, and variable helps us to frame the logic, because you will perform a lot of operations and then you have to hold it in certain things. So variables are container. You can create anything. Okay, so before we get into really this, first tell me, what do we achieve by programming? Why do we write program? What is the purpose of writing a program? So what is the purpose of writing program? Why do we write program? Why does anybody writes code or program, computer program? Tell me, guys.
To create new things.
Yeah, to create new things. Create new things. But why do you create new things? Why do you want to create new things?
To make it better.
To make it better. To make it better. Why do you make it better? Because something is not up to the mark, right? Or maybe something is going
Yes.
wrong.
Yes. Make it better from whatever.
Yes, make
We-
better. When you're making it better, probably you're solving some of the issues. You're taking out some of the issues. Let's say there is a process, ticket booking, right? So a simple example is movie tickets. I remember the days to watch any movie, we have to go to the theater first to buy the tickets. If we get the ticket, then we come back home and then again go at a different time to watch the movie. Okay. Because if you go there and then readily you will not get a ticket. So now that's a problem, right? That's a problem that I have to go there. It is a hassle that I have to make a trip to the theater just to buy the ticket. Now, what do we have through which we can book the
Book. Book my show.
So we have online
Online.
bookings.
Online bookings.
yes, online booking, book my
Through websites and
yes, website,
apps.
exactly apps. So we have a thing, and they are solving some problem, right? So, what is the problem they are solving? They're solving the problem of
Traveling
Commute to
long
go
distance.
there.
The hustle. So the
Traveling long
hustle
distance
that
just to
happens.
buy
The
a ticket.
people can do it from their house instead of
Yeah.
yes,
this
inconvenience.
inconvenient, right? It's inconvenient to go there and buy the tickets. That's why
Then
services are there which solves that problem of inconvenience. They're making our life convenient, and that's why they charge convenience fee also, right? Convenience fee, they call it. So, so we create a code, we write any code to solve some problem. Uh, so every piece of code will do something for you. It will solve some problem for you. Like in this code, we are solving a problem of finding area of a rectangle. This may seem very simple to you. Yeah, this is just 200. But let's say if this was the number, right? This was a number. Okay, this is the dimension of maybe something, right? This is in square meters area of
Centimeters.
a certain place. How do you calculate it? Then you have to maybe go to a calculator or you have to do manual calculation. Manual calculation will take a lot of time,
Lot of time.
but you give it to computer and computer is going to calculate immediately. If you calculate immediately. So we write program to solve a problem and we give it to computer and computer can solve it way efficiently. It can run that program amazingly fast. Okay.
better. It'll
Better, better,
better.
better in the sense, see, on better,
Faster.
faster. Faster is the
Faster.
writing. That's what the thing what computer does. Because the logic, you have to provide the logic to the computer cannot come up with its own logic. Only thing which computer can do is it can run at a massively fast speed. You can think maybe two ideas in a second. Computer can think 2 billion ideas in in a second. It can execute 2 billion instructions in a second. That's why this calculation it does in a ziffy, right? It takes not even zero point 0.1 milliseconds to do this kind of calculation, right? Which would have taken a lot of time for us. So computer programming, we frame the logic, and computer executes our logic way faster, right? So, uh, so computer executes logic way faster. But the logic we have to think. You cannot have logic has to be written by the programmer. Okay, logic has to. You have to provide the logic. You have to think about the right logic, efficient logic, logic which executes faster, and computer will execute your logic at a massively faster speed. Okay, so now all these features which we get, all these features which we get in programming language, in this case Python, all these features, programming features, lets us build that logic. Lets us build that logic so that um, we know a very complex problem, we can put it in terms of code which computer can execute. Okay, so like book my show, I think the number of lines of code in book my show probably would be maybe 1 million, 1 million lines of code. I would just guess about that because it has so many different features, many lots and lots of features. Okay, so now to to basically visualize or model a complex system in a manageable way, you have to form the logic. It's like book my show, the engineering which goes in, it's no less than an engineering to create a skyscraper. You have to create a very tall building like Burj Khalifa, right? It requires heavy engineering. Even a even a site like Book My Show will require a lot of engineering. And as software engineer, you have to provide the most efficient way of executing that process. Okay. Now to write a computer program, no, you can actually write the same objective what you get in different ways. So generally, there is one better way in which you get. So all these features which we get helps us to write efficient code in a easy form. Okay, variable is the first building block which holds any value. Like if I had to create area of a rectangle, I can hold these numbers in these variables and then we execute it. Now these variables uh, model different data types. We have a lot of data types around us. Can you guys tell me some of the data types?
So can I say?
Yes, yes, go ahead.
So string, int, tuple, um, float, etc.
Yes. Then,
Int.
yes. Right. So I will just write it here so that when I'm submitting the notes, so data type, string, integer, float, boolean.
Bool.
So these are actually called primitive data types. Primitive is like no the most basic data types. Okay, so this is what is primitive, and then what is little advanced data types, non-primitive data types. You Bhadresh, you were saying non-primitive data types.
So like tuple,
Yes, very good. Tuple. Okay, tuple. Then you have list. Then you have
list, set.
excellent, excellent. Okay, so now question to you guys: why do we have so many different type of data types?
We have in the primitive data types we have many different like um, like types of data. String is a different type. Int is a different type. Float is a different type. Bool is a different type. We need
Right.
one thing to put them in all.
Excellent, excellent. Yeah, so we cannot have just one data type to model everything. We have different type of data which are there. Like for example, if you're talking about a car will have a model, right? Car will have a mileage, car will have year of manufacturing, it will have the color, right? So there are different type of data types, right? So like the a car can be maybe Honda, right? Integer, let's say it can be mileage or kilometers, right? So kilometers, we can say like, okay, it is 15,000 kilometers. It's what it has gone through. So we can say kilometers, right? Float maybe can be its price, let's say 15.5 lakhs. Okay, so Boolean. So what is, guys, what is Boolean? What is Boolean data type?
So it's
Boolean data type, Boolean.
Say true and false.
Yes, separation is true and false, right? So only two values. So if it's a light, right? It's a light. It can be either on or it can be off, right? So it has two states. So if you say is the light on, so depending on the state of the light, you can say it's true or false. So if I make a statement, light light is on, so you can say false. Light is on, you can say true, depending on the state, right? So there are true values uh, in the context in the context of the car. You can say is auto drive, is your vehicle automatic drive? So you can say true, it is automatic drive. Okay, so that's why, since you have different type of data, you have different type of data types. Okay, now question comes to, why do we have this non-primitive data types? We also call them collection, and we also call them data structures. So why do we have this kind of data types?
That to store data.
Yeah, I'm saying all whatever variables you're assigning, it will actually anyway store the data temporarily. As soon as your program dies, all this data is gone, but these variables will hold data, which you were saying, you can always say that it's holding the data temporarily. Same thing these data types will also do. But why do we need these kind of data types when we already have so many data types like this, right? We have string, then we have integer, float, boolean. Why do we need these kind of data types?
Say like organize them like you do in dictionary.
Yeah. When do you
you
use?
can access them after you save them.
Yeah, you can access them after you state them. That is the nature of variable, because you want to access them, then only you will be able to use them in your program. You have to access them. Uh, okay, so one thing which is there is, these data types store more values at a time, not just one value. These data types, string, integer, boolean, float, will store only one value, right? But these data types will store collection of values, right? Like the collection of values, can you give any example of collection of values? Collection of values or collection of data, collection of information. Can you give any example?
Car sold in a year.
Car sold in a year will be a count. No, Charan?
Yes, sir.
It will be if you say models or brands of cars,
Variants.
yeah, brands of cars sold in a year, that will be a collection, right? You're saying something, you?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so can you give me a no collection of things? Like list, okay, so like list of your favorite games, or list of your favorite fruits, or colors, or basically name of the people who are in a company, or name of students who are in the school. All those are example of collection of data, right?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So if let's say if you have to store uh, your favorite fruits, you really cannot use string, right? You really cannot use string, because the string is meant for only one value. So let me just go to this Python. So this is Python shell. I'm sure you guys have a
Yes. Yes, sir.
Python environment installed, right? You have Python environment installed on your computer.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. Anyway, I will actually send you the installation documents. Okay,
Yes, sir.
you can actually go ahead and install it. Uh, and if you have any problem in installation, do let me know. Okay, I'll send it to you guys. Okay, so, it's right here.
Sir, where will you send it?
I'll send it on WhatsApp. Are you guys on WhatsApp group?
Yes, sir.
Yes, your phone number is there, and that's where you joined. So I'll send it on WhatsApp group. And other than
Yes.
that, we will have a lot of assignments, even though I will be sending this notes, but we will also use a platform which we will use to access the notes. And in fact, even your assignments, you can manage through that. We will use that so that we are able to auto evaluate it. And I will actually send it right here.
Can we have a Google Classroom this year?
We will not be using Google Classroom for this class. We will have a better way to do it. Okay, I'll tell you just now. Let me just put the documents first. So this is Python installation guide. I should have gone. VS Code. So we will be actually using this platform called robopreneur.com. So that's where I will give you access to the course on basically this course basically advanced Python for seniors. Okay, this is the course I will give access. Then you can actually you can create a profile. You can then try for free. Okay, so you can try for free. Then you can visit the dashboard, and then this is your Python for seniors, advanced Python for seniors, and you can actually click on play and come here. And here actually I will be adding the content. Okay, so you can access the content here. This is something which we are going to use. So you guys can actually create an ID on this platform. Okay, you can create an ID on this platform. This provides us an interface.
We do that now, sir.
Sorry.
So should we do it that now?
No, you don't have to do it now. Later you can do
Uh,
it. That's okay.
yes, sir.
Yeah. So even the installation, you can do it later. So now I've just sent it so that I don't forget it. Okay. So now, so collection of things like, so this is basically your, ideally once you install Python, you will get this interface. This is a very good way to test any feature, small feature, or any programming elements or built-in function, how exactly it works. You can do things here. Like I can create a list. I can create a list as a of number of items, right? So okay, number of items is actually say number of items. I'll say list of yes, it's a list of games rather. Games. So which is your favorite games?
Call of Duty.
Oh, okay, see. Call of Duty is a nice game. My son also likes. Is hooked to that. Other game even which I like is Halo. Have you guys played this game, Halo?
No, sir.
Is it for
No,
money?
sir.
I think it's for money.
No, it's not a money. It's a first shooter game.
Okay,
Then my
I'll see.
Roblox.
sorry, which one?
Roblox.
Block.
No, Roblox.
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 Blocks. Okay, yeah. That is something.
So X. It's just X, not CKS. It's just X.
Okay, Roblox. Okay. Cool. So see, this is the list of games, right?
So I
Now,
like Minecraft.
Minecraft. So we can actually add also to it. We have already created this list of games. We can add list of games dot append. And, right. So these are the list of games. So see, this is you're getting as a list, right? You can always tell, okay, what are the games I can then iterate over it, or I can access any item from it. I can say list of, I can access any item, right? I can iterate over it for game in list of games, and no, I can print out the game. So having this as a list, having this as a list makes things easier, right? If you say, okay, no, let me just store it as string. How will you store it strings? Maybe you'll store something like this. Yeah, so you'll store something like this. Okay, this is my favorite games, right? Now you see, now you have a problem. Of course, you can store it as strings. You have a problem in this. How do you differentiate between that this is one game and this is another game? Rather, this is one game, this is another game, and this is third game. You cannot do that. Maybe you can say, okay, I will use comma separated. Okay, I
Yes.
will use comma separated. But then, okay, so you have got this, but how will you use this? How will you use this? How, let's say, if I want, okay, just get me the first game which you like. Okay, let's say you're creating your wish list on a website. How will no, this string will be ordered? It has to show one after the other. You cannot have it, right? So you will have to eventually convert it into list to use it. So you can actually convert it into list. You can always say split, and then you can say I want to split on the basis of comma and maybe a space as well. And then it will split and it will give you a list, but eventually then you are getting this data type list. List as a data type is much more easier to use and manage. Okay, so that's why you have different type of data types, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so now in float in Python, you really don't have to define anything initially. Python, the data type is implicit as soon as you say x is equal to 10 or whatever. Depending on the value, data type of this variable will be decided. So now to check the data type, you can always use type function, which will show you the data type. Okay, so you can say this is int. Okay, so depending on the value of the data which is being assigned to the variable, the data type is assigned. So this X is data type. And in Python, another thing is there. You can actually change the data type by assigning it a different type of value. Okay, now you see this has become float. This has become float. You can assign basically even, see, this is a number data type. Int and float are number data types. But you can even assign it as string, right? You can assign it as a string. Then this becomes a string data type. So in Python, you can change the data types. This is something which is not possible in Java. Java is a strictly typed language. Python is loosely typed. You can actually change the data types. So and that's how you actually initialize it. Float means basically the data, the number data is a decimal. It has a decimal point in it. It's a fraction. It has fractional part in it, so it becomes float. So that is integer, float, string. There are so many data goes around as string. The name, no, the names or maybe the yeah. So mostly names. So this is basically name, uh, noun, pronoun, all those even adjectives. Different type of things are all modeled through string. The strings are your basically something which is character, which is characters. And in Python, the way you define strings is you can use single quotes or you can use double quotes. But if you're starting with single quote, you will end with single quote. You have to end with the same type of the quote, but either is fine. Eventually, the string object which is created, there is no difference in the type. Both of them are string. Okay, now in this statement, how many strings do you see?
So two. So
Two.
name is one, but the Robin and Singh are two.
Yes, very good. There are two strings, but actually there is one more string which is getting created, which will be Robin Singh. This will be another string which will be created.
So there will there be space
Uh,
between?
Yeah, no, sorry, this will not be any space. Good point. There won't be any space because we will not get any space. This will be third string, and actually we can try this out. I say name, at the no, name is not defined. Okay, so I can say name, and I will say Robin plus Singh, right? And then name has this. If I want to check the ID of name ID function gives you what?
The address.
Yes, it's basically the basically the address of the object, uh, the memory location. Basically, this is what it gives you. Now this is one string, and if I want to check the ID of Robin, actually it has been created at a different place. See, it's already created at a different place, and
yes, sir.
if I want to check Sing, this is also created at different.
No,
Singh and
it's the
Robin are
same,
same
sir.
ID.
Robin and Singh are the same.
That's important. No, how come they're same? Not supposed to be same. This is something which is funny. Okay, let me just assign it. Robin.
Sir, I think because you put name, like I think it's taking the address of the like the Robin plus Singh. I think they're taking the address of that.
Yeah, actually, that would I would think, but
Robin Singh, it's taking that.
no, but
Oh
the
yeah, then no,
name
already done. Oh yes, no.
X
Yes.
and it is Y. Now they're different. I think probably what is happening is it was just simply
Yes, sir.
overriding it. It was simply overriding it. Yeah, of course. Yeah, that is how it is happening. If I say Z is equal to sing again, then ID of Z, both of them are same actually. You see this? Because I would expect that they're same because Python optimizes that depending on the values of the primitive type.
So
And
this is an alias, right?
no, this is not the alias, this is a variable name. Alias, I will tell you what is alias in just a bit. But yeah, I'm saying they're different objects, and there is some optimization which is going on. That's why it was reclaiming the space. I think reclaiming the space, but as soon as you assign to a different variable, it changed that, right? So see, X has Robin and Y has Sing. If I say ID of X, you get this ID of Y, you get this, right? So they're different. So they're different objects. ID means identity, and that if the objects are, if the IDs are different, then that means they are different objects living in a different memory location. Okay. So when we did X is equal to Robin, right? What Python did was Python actually uh, Python create. So this is all these variables are stored. Where are these variables stored?
The RAM.
Yes, very good. So it gets stored in RAM, which is random access memory. That's what is the primary memory. All the programming elements, instructions, addresses are stored in RAM. Okay. So RAM, so what will Python will do? It will create a object of string type. Okay, it will create an object of string type, and it will store the value Robin here. Okay, it will store the value Robin here, and it will return this object. It will not return the object, it will return the reference, and it will give it to X. It will assign it to X. Okay, so this reference is what is basically the location. Okay, so computer program does not work on magic, right? It has to store data at a certain location so that you are able to retrieve it. So this location is assigned, this reference we also, this location we also call it reference, and that's what is assigned to X, and X holds the reference to the object Robin. Okay, X holds a reference, which means using X, you can access this object Robin. Okay, so, okay, fine. So now coming back, so this is string, and this is how you can define the string. The string supports indexing, which means you can access any character using the index of the string, and string supports slicing as well. Okay, so if I'm saying indexing, I can access this. So what will this give me? So I'm doing indexing for name and using index 2. So what will name?
So it'll give you nothing because 2 does not exist.
Okay, 2 does not exist. Okay. Any other thoughts, Charan, Badresh? So you, any thoughts on this?
Uh, no, sir.
Okay. Yeah, so see, in Python, strings are treated as sequence of characters. Okay, they are like list of alphabets, list of characters. Okay, and indexing in Python starts from 0. Okay, so even if you go there and we have this name, Robin Singh, which is, I can say, name dot index. Index of what? Index of B. You see, it gives me 2. If I use 2, it gives me B. Okay. What is the index of R? What is index?
0,
Yes.
0.
0.
Excellent. So that's how. So it starts from 0, 1, 2, 4. Like that, you can access any index. So you can access any character using the index. Okay. That is, since you are able to access any character using the index, that's called indexing. It also supports slicing. Slicing is you can take out a slice, a substring from the string. Right? So how do you take it out? You have to specify the starting of the string and ending of the string, ending of the portion you want to extract. Let's say we want to extract bin. So what is the starting index of bin?
2.
Excellent. So we will say 2. And what is the ending index of?
4.
Yes, very, very good. So 2,
4.
4. Only thing is, in Python, the second argument acts as the stop, and stop is actually exclusive. So you'll have to go one more. So one more, which is
So
your
2 to 5.
yes. Yeah, you have to go till 5. But this item is exclusive. The first one is inclusive. So this will give you bin. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Now, so it supports slicing, and you can easily do that. And we will actually come to more of this kind of thing, slicing, in a bit. Now, you see that, and not only this, you can access this with indexing, but you can iterate over it. Okay, so I keep on using a term called iterate. What do you understand by iterate?
So like using a for loop in the word.
Yes, iterate means you're going item by item and doing something with every item. You're able to go through it, right? So you can iterate on only items which are iterable. Okay, iterate on data which is iterable. Okay, right? So things which are iterable needs to be some kind of a sequence or needs to be kind of a list. Then only you will be able to iterate into them, right? Iteration is going over again and again, again and again. Iteration is an English word. It is going something over again and again. So you can only uh, uh, go over again and again in a list. And actually strings in Python behave like list. So you can actually go over this. You can go over every character. So I can actually I can use for loop and I can say I for I in name and print I. If you're not very clear about, if you don't remember the syntax, that's fine. But the idea is it will just go over every item of this. It behaves like a list. You see, it is going over every item of it. And then we are printing this item.
So if you say print I and equal to quotes, it will do it in the
Yes.
horizontal order.
Yes. If you want to do into horizontal order, you have to do certain things, right? See, by default, after print is happening, it is introducing a new line between R and O, is introducing a new line. If you want to change this behavior, then the ending character, instead of new line, you can provide empty space. Okay. Let's say you provide a single space. If I do this, okay, so I have to just hit for first and then I do this thing. Okay, no. So for and then print, yeah, something like this. Okay, so if I do this, what is okay? We have extra brackets is what we have. We don't need extra brackets. Okay, so
Yes, sir.
you see, we are getting something like this, right?
Yes, sir.
Sir,
So this is coming in the same line, and there is space in it. We can actually fix it, and we will do this, and then we will actually remove the space, and I'll do this, and then here we will say just blank print. Okay, just blank print will introduce a line. Now, okay, so you cannot do something like this. You need to provide some argument. Do this. And okay, you actually, this is a for loop. You really cannot. This is basically extension of this. This is actually, I can do this kind of program in right here. This is a REPL shell. I can do something like this. I can have my name is equal to string. I can say for I n name print I, And right here, then I can say print, do something like this. Here I cannot do because it's a REPL shell. It's a REPL shell. I cannot do something like this because I cannot. This is waiting for this command. So even if I say print and blank, it is introducing this line. So I cannot achieve what I want to do, but I can achieve in this. So now if I run this, you see, I'm getting this Robin Singh and I have a print also. Now I will change this end character to this. And now when I run this, you see it is printing Robin Singh right here together. Right, so we are able to override the default behavior of print functionality. Okay, so is this example clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. But
Yes, sir.
you wouldn't know why this kind of behavior is happening. Now, this can anybody tell why when we are doing something like this is giving us entire string in the same line? Can you tell me?
So because we use the AND feature.
Yeah, because we use the end argument. So I hope you guys are familiar with help function, and you can go to help. Now you can see this is basically documentation of print, which you can invoke using help. And see, this is the syntax, and that's what it says. And this is there, an end argument string appended after the last value, default a new line. So new line character is a default. By default, if you don't provide this, then it takes the default, but we can overwrite it. And that's what we are doing here. We are overriding this with the empty string. That's why, no, after printing, it is not introducing a new line and then coming back and printing the next character. It's not doing that. That's why we are overwriting it. Okay, so always try to use help and try to read the document and become comfortable with it. More and more you know about the language feature, easier it will be for you to write code because you will know more ways to achieve the same functionality, and then you can solve bigger problems with lesser lines of code, with lesser effort. Okay, so it's a very powerful tool. Programming is a very powerful tool, and this is being used to solve so many real world problems. You know what is the main thing about self-driving car? What makes self-driving car a self-driving car? That it's able to make its own decision. The intelligence
So
always,
it's like
yeah.
based on what's happening around it.
Yes, it's based on what's happening around.
Right?
Yes, but somebody has to take that, do that intelligence, and that intelligence comes from processing. And proper processing is basically, when it comes to intelligence, it's called computing, and that computing happens always through programming. Okay, it always happens through programming. Of course, it uses machine learning and artificial intelligence, but all these things are because of programming. So even self-driving car, which is actually becoming very popular in US, the Tesla and all. It's all happening because of coding, because of the programming which people are writing. So we can think how powerful is programming, and if you and Python is very well used in machine learning and artificial intelligence. So you learn this, and you will be on your way to start learning the artificial intelligence and writing very powerful softwares which are doing amazing things. Okay, guys, I think we will just take a break. So generally, that's what we do. This class is 2 hours, so we take 5 minutes break in every session. And break means break. You have to get up, maybe go drink water. If you want to use restroom, you go and use your restroom. Okay. So we come back exactly at 11:20. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, we'll actually continue. So yeah, so as I was telling that you can uh, strings behave like list, and you can basically it supports indexing, slicing, and also iteration. Okay, so list also does the same things, but there's one difference is uh, strings are immutable. Okay, have you heard this term immutable? You do you understand this term immutable?
Sir, I'm back.
Okay, Bhadresh. Yeah, so we were just talking about immutability. Charan, are
The
you there?
meaning not to change. That won't change.
It won't change. You cannot change strings. That's correct. Uh, whereas list are mutable, right? So just a second. Coco, stop barking. Stop barking, Coco. Yeah, so this is a remainder operator. Okay, so you can find the remainder using this. How about this one?
Sir, it's something to do with square, I guess.
Power, yes. So it's actually a power operator. I'll just take for example. So if I have to use remainder operator, so if I do something like this, what is the value it's going to throw?
The one.
Yeah, because one is a remainder. And if you want to, I have 4, and I use this exponential operator, or also called power operator. I do something like this. What is this value?
8.
Okay, so is it 8 or it is
That will be 16 into 4.
yes, so 16? Okay, so it is 4 to the power of 2, right? So
Yes, sir.
Sir, like 4 into 2 or something?
no, 4 into 4.
4 into 4.
Yeah, so
Oh, okay.
the square, you know the square, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, yeah, so it's 4 into 2. And if you want cube of 4, then what will you do? This is cube.
4 into
4
4
into
into 4
4,
fours are 16, and then 16 into 4.
64.
64.
64.
So if
Yes,
you
sir.
want to use power operator to find the cube of 4, how will you do that?
3 stars.
Yeah, 4. Yes, 4 to the power of 3, right?
3.
So it will give you 4 to the power of 3, which,
64.
right? So that is power operator, and then last operator is a called floor division, right? So like this is division, and it will give us this value 2.333, right? If we use floor division, which means we just floor this value. This is a fractional value. We floor it. We make it integer. So we remove the fractional part. We remove the fractional part. Okay, so we can do this. So this is called
Got it.
floor division. These are the arithmetic operators. Then you have these comparison operators, right? Which are used to determine a condition, value for a condition. Okay. So if I have x and then y, I can use this thing. Is x equal to y? So say, oh, false, because anyway, x and y are Robin and Sinks. We can see this, right? Now let's say x is 10 and y
Yes, sir.
is 11. And if I say y is x, what is the value is going to throw?
True.
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 Very good. Yeah. So this is basically evaluates to a condition. Okay. So this will give us true. So
Yes.
similarly, you have this not equal, I can say x not equal to y. This will also be true because x is not equal to y. If y is equal to 10 and x is also 10, then if you are saying x is equal to y, it will say true. If you say x, you check for this.
Not equal to y, it will be false.
Yeah, it will give false. Excellent. Right. So similarly, you have these operators as well. Clear, right? So,
Yeah.
okay, Charan got dropped. Okay. These operators are clear. Okay, now we move on to logical operators. Okay, we move on to logical operators, which is and, or, and not. Okay, so whenever you have to combine two conditions, like now we have this one condition which is x is greater than y, right? So this was one condition. So x is this, y is 11, and y is equal to, let's say, reassign it to, let's say, 15. Z is equal to 20, and it is, so x. So now x, y, and z, these are the values. So if we have to check which is the smallest, how will you check which variable is the smallest?
So you can use the smaller than and bigger than symbols, or you can just see yourself.
Yes. So if we'll say you can use if, we will come to if soon, but just checking on the condition, you don't need to have if also. We can say if x is less than y, this is true, yeah. And is x less than z? This is also true. So which means x is actually smallest. So I can do something like this also. X, I want to combine this y, and x is less than z. I can combine this. So these are two conditions. Instead of doing it twice, I can combine it. Okay, I can combine them using a logical operator and. Okay, so I can just,
Just false and true. So you're doing it false and the first is false.
this is true, even this is true.
So okay. I thought Z yes. Correct.
If x is less than y and x is less than z, then that means this is true, right? That means x is
Yes, sir.
smallest.
Yes.
This will give us the smallest. And this kind of combined condition, we can put it in a if statement also. We can say then print x is smallest. You see, it indeed prints us x is smallest. So to combine two conditions, you can use a logical operator, which is and or. Okay, and or is what you can use. So right, and not is another logical operator which will turn any uh, Boolean value to the other value. So Boolean values, only two values are possible, which are true and false. So if you say not, it will reverse. If I use
Yes,
not,
sir.
let's say true, what will you get?
True.
If you say not true, it will give you opposite of true.
False. False.
Yes, it will give you false.
False.
Say not false.
Give us true.
Yeah. So now x is less than y, which is true. If I say not x and y, then it will give us false. Okay. This kind of convention you may want to use at certain place wherever you're interested in the reverse of the values you're getting. Okay. So, like for example, if I have x is equal to none, and if I say if x, right? If x, then x is equal to 10. But in this case, this will evaluate to false. Every empty value in Python evaluates to false. So this will not even be executed. Okay.
So
Okay.
you have indentation error.
Yeah,
not anything else.
if you have not provided indentation, there need to be an indentation. So this will, x will still remain none. X has no value. Okay, so in this case, we want that, okay, if x does not have a value, assign a value to it. How do we do this? We can say if not x, then you say x is equal to, then you assign a value, and then x gets a value. Okay, so sometimes you want to use not with a condition. Okay, fine. So maybe this may be confusing that x itself is not a condition. Is this a confusion? X is not an expression, a comparison expression, or something like that. Is this is a confusion? So x value is none. Okay. So in Python, every empty value, the Boolean value, the truthiness of that value is false for every empty value. And that you can check by using bool function. You can use bool function, and if you can pass a number to it, you can pass any object to it. You can pass any string, right? You can pass any string. It will give you the truth value of these values. Okay, and this is the truth value. Eventually, when you're using with if or in any comparison, it will evaluate to this truth value. Right. So now, as I was saying, any empty value will have truth value of false. So if I am checking truth value of empty string, what will you get?
So false.
Yes, you will get false. Excellent. If you're checking Boolean value of 0, what will you get? Boolean value of 0. 0, no, even though it's not a,
Zero is like none. Zero is like none, so false.
yes, 0 is actually not really like none, but in Python, we take 0 as a value which is like empty value. If you, the default value of any number, any integer will actually default to 0. So that's how we take it. So what is the Boolean value of minus 10? What is the Boolean value of minus 10? So minus 10 as such is not an empty value. Okay. 0 is empty value, but minus 10 is not an empty value. So you are going to get true for this. Okay. So is this concept clear that every value has a Boolean value to it? Any empty value, and that's true for even empty list. If you have an empty list, if you check on Boolean value, it will give you false.
So if you say bull none,
Yeah, it will be false because none is also empty value. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So is this concept clear to you?
yes
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay, good. Moving on. So logical operators is how you can use membership operator, very common. If you want to check for any membership, uh, like name has Sam, so you can always check A in name. You can always check, right? It will give you true. So yeah, A is part of this thing. You can also check for AM in name. This is basically a membership operator. Okay, this is a membership operator. So
Yes, sir.
uh, if I have something else like no Ram in name, then say false. It's not there, or any alphabet which is not present. So this will be false. And this membership operator can be used for any sequence. String in Python is like a sequence. It can be used for list or for tuple or any iterable. Range is one of the different type of iterable. Now, what is the purpose of range?
So you can get a range of numbers,
Yes.
like from 2 to 7, you can get 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yes, very good. So it gives you the range of numbers or sequence of integers. And actually, I can convert it to see this as a list. And you see, you are getting this 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And second value is exclusive. Okay, second value is exclusive. So first value is inclusive, second value is exclusive. So you can convert it. Basically, this gives you a handy way of generating sequence of numbers. Okay, and very easily you can do it. You can go till 100, right? So to any number of count. Okay, you can also provide step as a third argument. Step as a third argument, and that will define the increment. So you see the increment between the first and second value becomes 2. So that's what range does. Okay, you can also use help on range to learn more about range, how exactly it works. So you can provide one argument, you can provide two arguments, or you can always also provide three arguments. So if you're providing one argument, it acts as a stop. So what happened to the start value if you're just providing one argument?
Start from 0.
Yes, it will start from 0. Excellent. So if we have range, if we just say range till 5, it will give us value from 0 to 4. Okay, this value is going to give us. So that is what is range. And membership operator works in this also. So see, this is the value. I can always say 2 in range 5. This will give me true. And if I say 2 range 2, what will actually, yeah, so that becomes, let's say I say 0 till 10, and I say 2, I say basically 1. So what will be the value of this? What will you get?
True. True.
Okay, just think about it again.
Okay, yeah. It gets odd. It's 1, 3,
Excellent.
5.
Yes, excellent. Yeah, so since it's odd, 2 will not part of this list, uh, not part of this range. Okay, is this clear?
So,
This is giving us false.
yes, sir.
Okay, fine. Then we have this identity operator, which is and is not. This is used to check the equality of the objects. So if two objects are the same, no, we are not talking about the values to be same. We are saying if two objects are same. If I say x is equal to, I'm creating a list to for. Okay, let me just try with string and see. String, I think it will not work because of primitive type. I'll say 5, 6, and 7. And then y is equal to 5, 6, and 7. So if I say x is y, what will be the value of this? Would this give us true or
I
false?
say
True.
yes. True.
True.
True. Okay, okay. See, they're different objects. It will be false. You can check. Okay.
Oh, because it's stored in separate places.
Yeah, because it is stored in separate locations. These are the two different objects. For any complex object,
Yes, sir.
it will be a new location which will be created. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And also because they are mutable objects, so they are different objects altogether. So that's why saying is false. Okay. But yeah, if you want to check the value, then you can use this equality operator. Okay, so you can use this equality operator, which will give you true. The values are the same, but they are different objects. Okay, since they're different objects, if you modify one, so I can simply modify 5 to 50, right? So x is modified, but y will not be modified because they are different objects. Okay, but if let's say if I had z and I had assigned it equal to y, then z holds these values. And if you check the ID of z, you see this ID of z is same as the ID of y. This, which means both the objects are same. And since both the objects are same, any change to any either of them will translate into change to other also. See?
That was an alias, right?
Yeah, it's like an alias. Actually an alias because that's what we did. We said z is equal to y. It's an alias. Now if I say z, I change the let's say second item of this from 6 to 600. So z has got modified, but even y would have got modified because both of them are pointing to the same object, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so
Yes.
yeah, so that's where that's what is objects and the values objects. And then if I say y is z, it says true. They're same objects. Both of them are pointing to the same object. So you have one memory location and x and y both are pointing to the same memory location. So that you can check with is identity operator. We have this, and if we say y x is this and y is this, if we say x is not y, it will say true because they're different objects. And you can also use is instance to find whether a variable type is an instance of particular type. You can always use instance function also. Compound operator, I think pretty straightforward. Are you guys comfortable with compound operator?
So I'm not comfortable with that slash and equal to.
Okay. Yeah, if you don't, if you are not very comfortable, it's always, let's say x is 10 and y is equal to, let's say whatever, 5. Now, if you're not very comfortable, let's say you want to divide x by y and assign the value to x itself. So you can always say x divided by y. If you're not very comfortable with compound operator, you can very well use like this also. This is not a problem, not a problem. Okay, but it's very simple to use compound operator, especially with numbers because orders don't matter. With numbers, a plus b is equal to b plus a. But if you are using plus operator with string, a plus b is not equal to b plus a. The order will reverse. But with numbers, this is all fine because you have this kind of variable here and you have this variable x and on both the sides. So either you can do something like this or you can just remove this operator and you can remove this variable and put this operator before. This means that this operator, when Python will evaluate this it will open it up. It will take this variable which is on the left side, put it here and use the operator from here and put it in between. That's what it is going to do. And you will get x as 2. That's all it is there. But if you're not comfortable, you can always, no.
Hey, why does it give float answer?
Okay, that's a good question. So you can always use x divided by y and you get x. Division every time, whenever Python is dividing, it will always convert the data type to float. That's an implicit conversion. It will always convert it into float because in variable with division, you will end up with decimal points. Okay, so it is implicit conversion, which Python will do. Okay, you can actually check the type of this conversion. Okay, you can check this type of this conversion. It will come to float. So this will be automatically changed and it will be converted into this type float. That's what you can check with type function. Okay, is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, compound operator it's pretty simple to use. If you're not comfortable, that's fine. You can just use it in a regular way like this. That's not a problem. In fact, like increment uh, x is equal to 10. If you want to increment it, you can always go like this. That's not an issue. Even like no people who are conversant with programming use it something like this. The main thing about program is the program should be clear to you because you are the creator of the program. If the program is not clear to you, how will you ensure that the program is actually right? So as a creator, it has to be absolutely clear to you, and if it can be clear to others who are reading a program, that's even better. But absolutely, it must be clear to you. You can always use this kind of thing also. For computer, it really doesn't matter because eventually it will convert this into an addition operation, and it will just give zeros and ones to the computer to execute. So after conversion, it really doesn't matter. Fine. So if elif and else, this is used to handle condition and have your code flow certain path. If elif and else can be used. So I hope this is clear to you guys. Any confusion in this?
No, sir.
Okay. You, is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Only thing I want to highlight is see blocks. Block. So this is my if block. These two statements are part of if block. And in Python, white spaces have white spaces at certain places have meaning. Like this particular white space has a meaning. It indicates that this is part of this block, no block of statements. And even the end line means it's the end of the statement. That is also a meaning. Another basically white character. So new line character is a white character. How do you represent a new line character? How do you represent a new line character? Let's say if I want to write hello world and I want to have multiple new lines between hello and world, how will I introduce it? You can use new line character. New line character is denoted by \n, right? So I can have as many new line characters as I want.
So what is this?
This is a new line character which will introduce new lines. If I hit enter, you see it has introduced new lines. \n is a new line character, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Sir, if you do that with end equal to like empty space, and then you put one new line character, both the words will have a space between, right?
No, no, no. That will not be end. Okay, if you want to introduce space between mini space between them, this will not be this kind of thing. You see, this is coming space after this. If you want to introduce space in between, you can use another character which is called separator. But for that, you will have to have these in separate values. With print statement, you can provide multiple values, values, also called literals. This is string literal, and also variables. So it can print multiple values, and separator will introduce these characters between these different values. By default, the separator is empty. The separator is single space, but you can change it. If I change it like this, you see you have multiple lines between them. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So I'm not clear with separator.
Okay. Separator. Fine. Let me just go to help and print. You see, separator is another character, right? Is another argument which you can pass to print function. The default value of the separator is blank. Okay, and here it is string inserted between values. The values is all these values which will provide. So let me just print some values. If I just print values like hello Sam, right? Now by default it introduces one space, even though there is no space in between, right? We haven't provided any space in between. This is just, this space is not a space in the string, so this is nothing. Even this doesn't matter, right? This doesn't matter. So it will provide this one space. But if we want to change that, instead of one space, I want something else, some other character. Let me take another example. Let's say you want to print today's date. What is the today's date? Today is 5th June. Let's say you want to print June, and this is my 5, and year is 2021. So if you have something like this, it comes like this. By default, there is a space in between. But let's say you want to change it to hyphen, you can very well use sep. Sep is basically separator. And then you can provide alternative characters. So instead of default space, it will take the alternative character, and this is what it will print. This is what it will
Okay.
print the
I'm
values.
clear.
Okay, you can maybe use like this also, right? So whatever character you provide, not only that, you want to put many dollars. We all like dollars, right? Then there are a lot of dollars in between, right? So we can put something like this as well. Okay, so that is what is basically
Yes.
print if an LF statement, and it's also called control flow statement. Why it is called control flow statement? Why is a if statement control flow statement?
It controls the flow.
Yeah, it basically defines a different path of execution, right? So you, since name of the person is Sammy, your code will actually come to this, but it will not come, it will not go inside these two, right? That's how you are controlling. Okay. Elif and else are optional. If is must. If you have one condition which you want to check, you definitely have to have if. If you have more conditions to check, you can have elif, and else is like a default value. If you're providing else, if something is not in true and something is not in no condition of elif is false, then only else will be executed. Okay, fine. Actually, we have some more topics to be covered. I think we will have to continue with this refresher again. We are pretty much done with the today's 2
So
hours.
what are the assignments?
Yeah, there'll be assignments on it. I will anyway share this. We can start working on some of the assignments which are there. There are some classworks. We will be doing some classwork as we do. And there are some assignments. I'll send the notes. I'll send it on WhatsApp. I may take some time to upload it on the website, but you can go ahead and create your account there. You can just simply sign up on Robopreneur, and then we will provide you access to the course. And as I said, you can always go to the course, go to age 13 to 18, and then the course is Advanced Python for Seniors. You can go to course details, and then you can actually enroll for free. You make sure you enroll for free. So then it will go in your dashboard. So once you're, this is your dashboard. And once you're in your dashboard, then you will have your courses there, and you can actually, you can go to Advanced Python for Senior. Once you have done this, I will give you access. So this button will be gone because this course is already purchased. This button will be gone, and then you can click this, and then here you are going to see some statistics that know what is your course completion, what is your scores for the assignments which you have been submitting, and then you will have more information. Then actually you can click on this, and then you can go inside. You will have material, then you will have your assignments also there. But for this batch, I'll be sharing this notes on WhatsApp as well. Okay, so clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, guys, so if you have any question, you can ask now. Otherwise, we will break and we will continue from the next class, which will be next Saturday at 10 o'clock. Any question? Is everything clear? Whatever we have covered, is everything clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good.
Yes, sir.
Then we will break and then we will see you next Saturday. Have a nice day, guys.
Thank you, sir. Bye,
Thank
sir.
you, sir. Bye, sir.